Okay, let's talk about San Francisco. They beat Chicago 33-22. A good game from Jimmy Garoppolo. Pete, he needed a good game with all the Trey Lance chatter.
Yeah, and it was unfair to him last week in the rain, I thought. I mean, you're playing in the rain. You can't throw the football. It's
You're
tough.
Still at home, though. And the
Yeah,
other
but
team was playing in the rain,
they
too.
should have won the game. But Kyle Shanahan should have kept running the football. They go up 13-0 there in the first quarter. Instead, he threw it 3 straight times and ended up settling for a field goal to make it 9-0. They put him away early. And so I think Jimmy Garoppolo responded well today. And again, that's a Bears team without Khalil Mack, which makes a difference in terms of playing quarterback. But he had a good game, and you could tell when he ran it in for the 1 touchdown. He threw the football into the stands. He hears it. He knows what's out there. And as long as they're alive, and they are, he should be the quarterback.
Next week is so telling because which Cardinals team are they going to be facing?
True.
Are they going to be facing a healthy Kyler Murray with DeAndre Hopkins? Or if one of those two guys, obviously, clearly, if Murray's not there, you get George Kittle expected to return in Week 9. Huge piece on the offensive side of the ball. Brandon Ayuk showed up today and made some plays, had a 2-point conversion. You have the stars in 2 spots that are important for them. The wide receiver is a star right now. Deebo Samuel, after injury-plagued 2020, back as a star right now in 2021. And they have their answer at running back. Elijah Mitchell now has 3 games over 100 yards rushing, 18 for 137 and 1. This is their guy. Not Trey Sermon, not JaMychal Hasty. We'll see what Jeff Wilson does when he comes back. But Mitchell right now is their running back, and that's the key to their identity, and he's getting the job done.
It seemed like a complete offensive performance today from the Niners. But from a fantasy perspective, Jamie, with Kittle coming back, is there a concern if you're a Deebo Samuel owner that he is going to take some of that production away?
No, I mean, he'll lose some targets, but this is a guy that they find ways to get the ball in his hands. He didn't have any carries today, but the bubble screens will be there for him. There'll be some creative ways just to get him opportunities. And we've seen Kittle and another guy, maybe not to the same heights as what Deebo Samuel is doing. The only concern for me would be, and Pete, you can address this as you sort of said, if they continue to lose, I don't like those guys if Trey Lance is under center because he's not going to throw the ball to them to the same level that Jimmy Garoppolo is. So if they lose, then you worry about what happens with Kittle and what happens with Samuel, because I don't think that he supports those guys. Jimmy Garoppolo can support those guys.
What about Chicago, Pete? I mean, they get the loss today, but Justin Fields, not too bad. I mean, he's been worse. Obviously, one of the, I think he's the worst rated quarterback in the NFL, but I mean, he's not getting a lot of help there. But from what you saw from him today, what's your feeling about the direction that Chicago's headed with Justin Fields as their quarterback?
It's the right direction for him to play. There were some people who question whether he should play. I'm a big believer they're not going anywhere, so you should play the young kid and let him develop. And you learn more playing than you do sitting on the bench, so throw him out there. And he's responded. He's been beat up a bunch, and you saw today he got hit a bunch, and he keeps coming back. And I think the fact he got outside the pocket and ran today was a good thing for him.
This was his best game fantasy-wise, clearly, 29 points. And I'll take this all day long. He doesn't have to throw for 300 yards. He threw for 175, 1-1. You like to see the turnovers eliminated. But get him out of the pocket, let him run, make some plays. 10 for 103 and a touchdown. If he's getting you anywhere close to 50 yards rushing, which I think he's capable of, he's going to make plays. That's going to be better for him. Imagine that they did this, that he had his best game, and Allen Robinson still a complete disappearing act. 3 for 21 on 4 targets. This is where a team should be looking to call for a playmaker, because I think he still can offer something. I don't think he's ever going to get back to that 2015 level when he was with Jacksonville, but it's not working. And he's on the end of his contract. Maybe some team can acquire him, maybe Atlanta, maybe another team that's looking for a playmaker. Go get Allen Robinson out of Chicago and save his fantasy.
That was my next question. Is when you look at Allen Robinson, I mean, I've got him on my fantasy team. I think I've got him on a couple of teams. And there's just so much disappointment there. Is that a chemistry issue, or is it just a play calling, just where he's making his reads issue?
He's always been a volume guy. He's needed a lot of targets to be successful. He's not getting that. 4 targets today. Darnell Mooney had 9 targets. It's very clear that that's the guy Justin Fields is leaning on. You see Cole Kmet making more plays today. 3 catches, 24 yards for him. This is just not a very diverse offense right now. They want to run the ball, be ball control, and not necessarily make a lot of plays down the field in terms of what Justin Fields is doing. Now, maybe that changes as he gets more comfortable, but right now, Allen Robinson and Justin Fields are not working.
Well, you mentioned it. Fields was great from a fantasy standpoint. He's still not there from an actual playing quarterback standpoint. You got to be able to stand in there and make your throws. And Allen Robinson has to be frustrated because he's not, A, the offensive line isn't good enough, and B, he's not getting through all his progressions, in large part because the line isn't good enough, but also because he's not there yet. And that's where a wide receiver like Allen Robinson will be frustrated. He's used to it, by the way. He's played with some bad quarterbacks in his career.
True, true, but we thought that this would be it.
For everybody talking about trading for Allen Robinson, here's the one problem with Allen Robinson. He doesn't run. He doesn't run by anybody. He's a good second or receiver. He's not a guy you trade for to become your number 1 wide receiver. I think he's more of a 2 and he's good to have for a team that needs a 2, but he's not a 1. He doesn't run by anybody.
Oh, it's just so disappointing because I was really hoping for big things with
So were a lot of people.
Justin Fields. All right, well, for all the discussion about storylines within the league, be sure to tune into Inside the NFL. New episodes Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can stream it on Paramount Plus.